Viktor Moreno ruled his empire with an iron fist. Steel factories, shipping companies, real estate. His name commanded respect across 3 continents. At 62, he'd crushed competitors, survived betrayals, and built an empire that would outlast him. Or so he thought. His only child, Elena, was 24, and everything Viktor wasn't: soft-spoken, small-framed, always buried in books about art and philosophy. She wore delicate dresses and spent her days at charity galas while he negotiated million-dollar deals. "My greatest weakness," he'd confide to his advisors over whiskey. "Too gentle for this world. When I'm gone, the vultures will tear her apart." He'd built contingencies, trustees, lawyers, a board of directors to protect her from herself. Elena would inherit his wealth, but never his power. She couldn't handle it. Then Viktor suffered a stroke. For 3 months, he lay in a hospital bed, his empire rudderless. His competitors circled like sharks. A hostile takeover began. His board panicked. Elena walked into the emergency meeting in her usual flowing dress, her voice barely above a whisper. The executives barely looked up. "Gentlemen," she said softly, "I'll be taking control." They laughed. One actually laughed. Within 48 hours, Elena had restructured the company's debt, called in favors Viktor didn't know she'd been cultivating for years, and leveraged insider information she'd quietly gathered at all those pointless charity events. She'd been listening, learning, building her own network while everyone dismissed her as decorative. She crushed the takeover attempt. Then she went further. She exposed the 3 board members who'd been embezzling, fired the advisors who'd been leaking information, and negotiated a merger that doubled the company's value. All while visiting her father's bedside every evening, reading him poetry in that same gentle voice. When Viktor finally recovered enough to understand what had happened, Elena sat beside his bed and took his hand. "You taught me everything, Papa," she said quietly. "You just never noticed I was paying attention. You saw weakness where you should have seen strategy. Gentleness isn't the same as helplessness." Viktor stared at his daughter, really saw her for the first time. "You let them underestimate you," he whispered. Elena smiled. "Just like you taught me. Never let them see you coming." The strong man had spent his life fearing his daughter would be his downfall. He never realized she would be his legacy, not in spite of her gentle nature, but because she'd learned to wield it like a weapon. A lioness doesn't roar to announce her presence. She simply strikes when the moment is right. The most dangerous opponent is the one you've already dismissed.